SPY creeping up here. This is really a pretty horrible price action here. This is just chop. Q's as well. Q's a little stronger though. Crypto's chopping around here now after a nice pop up this morning. Coin was up beautifully and pulled back a little bit. And then URGN put in a nice little move up, just compressing a little bit now. Microsoft starting to bounce, gone to green now. T2104 just really flat today. Hasn't moved at all. Basically, it's just like the market. If you look over here on the TOS platform, this is the volume up, volume down difference right here in VOLD. You can see flat as a pancake. Gapped up and just flat. Very choppy. Whoops. Very choppy. That VOLD was, that's the kind of the equivalent of the, $ VOLD, the equivalent of the T2104 and TC2000, and I use for cumulative volume difference for up down volume. Very flat this morning. Basically, up volume, down volume, pretty much trading together. Both about the same. Very small difference. Sarang, almost free. Bag holding from the original URGN position is break even right now. Yeah, I like the stock. That's why I added to it. I mean, why I took it again on Friday. I like this URGN. I guess Thursday I took it. I still like this daily chart. I went out to August on it now. Yeah, you're in decent shape. You may actually make some money on this. How did I find SQFT? Took $1.50 on SQFT, Sarang. Anthony, how did I find it? I look. I have in TC2000. I have a scan that looks for what's called volume buzz, which is really high volume, very high volume. And then I look for a stock that is the volume is high for the day and outperforming its average volume, and also it has low float. So if I looked at SQFT on here, let me put it on here. SQFT. I looked at SQFT. There it is. It was trading well. It's right now at 17 million shares, which is its average volume is way less than that. Its volume buzz, which is how much is it above what it normally does, 133,000%. The float on it is 11.2 million. Is traded 18 million. So that means that the amount of shares available to trade was 11 million, a little about 11.2 million, and it's already traded 18 million, which means it's traded all of the float that's available more than once. It's going through it again. So that typically puts an awful lot of up pressure on that. So that's why I call it a Momo. It's got very high volume and low float relative to the volume. And not something I would recommend here. I mean, I trade these, and I know I point them out because a lot of people in the room who are really good traders and can really read price action trade these things. But I'm telling you, if you're not an experienced trader and you're not good at reading price action, and you've got you have emotional problems with losing money, these are not the things for you to trade. They're very quick. And they can range a lot. I mean, they can have a huge range in them. There's coral weave, by the way, moving sideways. CNC drifting down. Snow doesn't seem to want to stop going up. Hey, Heaven. Good morning. Good morning. Again, we took CCJ today for a swing trade. Earnings on 7:30. I took the August 1st expiration, but I have to sell it before August 30th. But it's a nice PBO, a pullback opportunity set up. SMR has been moving up and down quite a bit this morning. It's basically back up above the 38.32 resistance level this morning. It's a pretty nice setup with room up here to about 42.91. But this market, the stock itself has been pretty choppy lately, as you can see. But this is a pretty nice setup. But again, I would be leaning toward day trading this thing. Caterpillar coming in. Right, so the market's just chopping around. So most of the, if you're going to look up here, these are going to show you stocks with got a good relative strength. And but you have to look at the price action. See see how small these candles are? Yeah, they're stacking green candles, but they're very small. The serve is pretty decent. But then you have to look at your daily chart and see where it stands on the daily chart on serve, and it's really just kind of breaking out today. I wouldn't touch it personally. RDW. Trying to break out. Actually, it's also a PBO. Robolex been very strong today. Tiny candles though. You see they're stacking green, but they're small. 110.52 with room to 112.30. And these are the weak ones. BOR, Holo coming down. Oh, that's pretty choppy. That's a semi. A net with a bounce up, now pulling back. You obviously wouldn't want to, I don't think you would want to go short this right now. And these are the stocks that are cascading down, but they're green for the day, which means they're pulling down from their highs. You'll be able to see that on all of these right here. Just like on the ones here that are red, there's only one. That is, those are bouncing up off a low. Okay. Harry pointing out TRI out of a long compression on the daily, also emerging out of compression on the 5 minutes. All-time high, TRI. TRI, yeah, pretty big move here this morning, 8%, over almost 9% on TRI that Harry just pointed out. There's obviously some news on this thing. I mean, look at this volume. It's a big move. Gap up, compress, yeah, nice setup. A little, I mean, for a swing, it's too extended for me. I can't swing it, but I can day trade it if it pulls back to the VWAP and then bounces out of the 15 and then bounces. This list I produced down here, again, these are swing type trades. So if I'm going to look at these, I'm going to look at them on the daily chart. So I have to swing over to the daily chart and see what they look like on the daily chart. There's a TRI, I just mentioned. SQFT, that is a Momo stock, of course. ANSS, decent bounce up here this morning. SONN, PVTX. So these are all moving up pretty strongly. You'd have to take a look at the how they, where their earnings are, et cetera, is all that information. But there's MET-C. Yeah, gapped up and just kind of moving sideways right now. PFGC. So this is a new scan I'm trading up. There's Irene, which he talked about this morning. It's a pretty nice setup on Irene. It has pulled back from its high, but it's a nice daily chart. You notice we're green across the board here. All of the indicators are green on these things. In this case, the trend is not, but everything else is blue or green. So these are decent bullish setups. Fast, RCAT, Kodak, which we've mentioned. There's quite a few. Here's some that have pulled back. ZEP. It's actually red for the day, but there's a doji sandwich setup that it's doing right there. So anyway, just testing that skin out. Switch back to the 5-minute chart. Again, I haven't considered touching any indexes yet. Was by super system trades. This was a tentative one, but the market is just too choppy for me right now. I don't like this price action. CNC still drifting down. Again, we need about 3070 to get filled on that for a really nice prop. TRI is the news, Ari. Oh, that's Thomas Rudis. That's funny. Go back to sleep? Oh, she's got a Ellie sometime. Buy with a decent bounce here now. Still green, just green by just a little bit. Triple Q's green by a little bit more. IWM is now also green. So the indexes are all green now for the day. Okay. Again, SPY moving up here pretty decently. Uh, I don't I don't trust it at all. It's been very choppy here today, but still pretty nice. SPY pretty much sitting right, just bounced off the 8 right here this morning. Here's the SPY right there's the 8, bounced right off of it right there. Triple Qs went down below it, bouncing. IWM bounced off the 8 this morning. These are fairly bullish charts here. I mean, this SPY is definitely bullish on the daily. You can't, you really can't look at this and say there's bearishness. This is not bearishness. You know, we pulled it back a little bit and we bounced up. We pulled back a little bit. Still very bullish market. Even with all the news that's out there, tariff news, etc., the market still is moving up. Apparently, they're discounting a lot of this tariff talk. They don't even, you know, it doesn't hardly react to it anymore. Looking at CNC drifting down. Snow been very strong today, very strong. I'm looking to see if we get some sort of a pullback in it. Nvidia today pulled back pretty hard. Now it's going green again. No, it hasn't, just slightly red. AMD also slightly red. Sir Cruz, you're curious what the trading room looks like? It looks like this. The trading room looks like this. You know, you can ask me questions in the trading room just like you can on here on YouTube. But you've got all this information here. You've got all the information on the trades we take. You've got access to the Discord room. You have access to my alert service, which I put out alerts, like I just put out an alert this morning on CCJ for long. We have an alert on URGN long last week, Microsoft long, and our trade record is really, really strong right now. For June and July, we're 20 wins and 1 loss. And that's pretty good. I mean, that's very good. You know, we're not going to have 98% win rate. We typically have 85 to 90% win rate. But this is what the room looks like. I keep the SPY Super System right here. I keep this SPY Super System software, which you can buy, and I would recommend anybody who wants to trade, you know, consistently for consistent profits, buy the SPY Super System. But I have it up all day long, and you've got your current time frame momentum, your multi-time frame momentum, your long-term trend. This is the 5-minute chart. So here's your VWAP, your 15. These are all the things we trade off of on a 5-minute chart. On the daily chart, we're much more interested in the current time frame momentum and the multi-time frame momentum, both being bullish. So if I look at CCJ here, and I go to a daily chart, and I look at CCJ, which is what we just took today, you notice I've got momentum, current time frame momentum blue, which is bullish, multi-time frame momentum green, which is bullish, trend is green, which is bullish. This tells me this is a good setup, and the technicals on it were really nice. All right, and I also show on my chart, on the room, I moved my TC2000 chart over to show you the technical setups that I see on my charting program, which is a PBO right here in pullback opportunity at CCJ. So you get all of those things. You have access to all my videos. I got about 30 videos that I go over all of my strategies. I go over the indicators, how to trade SPY Super Systems, how to trade weekly ATMs, which is a strategy we use, how to trade over earnings with what's called time spreads. Those are non-directional trades. There's a video on straddles and strangles. So all of that stuff you get. And you get all this education during the day. So yeah, I think it's an excellent offer to be able to get into the room. Um, taking an annual membership is the best way to do it. You do it for 2-week trial. You're not gonna have time to evaluate it. I mean, listen, I've always believed in, when I started trading, I always believed you've got to invest in yourself. You've got to invest in yourself, and trading without having information that you need to become a better trader is going to be a killer. That's why most retail traders won't trade. I mean, why they won't make money. They won't spend $1,000 for some education, but they'll blow $6,000 making crappy trades. So that's just the way it is. All right, so there we are. That's 5-minute chart and CCJ just kind of moving sideways. CNC we'd like to see pull back just a bit more. And Snow, I'd like to see somebody chop the top off of this thing, but we'll see what happens. You must. With earnings season coming up, we'll be sharing time spread trades all the time. Any good ones we should keep an eye on this week that often stay within expected moves. I mean, I typically don't do time spreads right at the beginning of earnings seasons. First of all, the first things they're going to report are going to be banks. Now, if we can get some indications from the first couple of banks, what the banks might do, I might take some time spreads off of some of the other banks based on what these other banks did, depending on what the expected gain is going to be. I mean, if you should watch my video on time spreads. It goes into very specific criteria that we need to have that have to occur for us to take those trades. Just like anything, straddles, strangles, I have very specific criteria on all those, just like I do on SPY Super System trades. All of these trades I take, the criteria are very specific, and those specific criteria are what make those trades profitable. You must, yeah. The time spreads are they're very effective. We do pretty well on them. You don't want the stock price moving well beyond what the expected move is, and I look to see what the expected move is, and I look to see what percentage of times the move, not the earnings, but the actual stock price move, how high a percentage does that beat the expected move? And if it beats the expected move less than 20% of the time, that's one of the criteria. And if you've seen the video, you know that that's one of the criteria. About 20 minutes to 12 here right now. Market's trying to push up. It's just, this is not great price action. But the SPY, the Qs, IWM are all bullish. They're all above the 8 exponential moving average. Again, we get the CNC, which is drifting down. CNC's within shouting distance of becoming profitable. Not just profitable, but meeting our okay. First day in the trading room. And only question is, what does RA stand for? This is what happens here. Andre, anything that I it's either R or RA. RA means that I called it out in the room and posted it in the room, and I alerted on it. The A means, anything with an A means it was alerted on it, went out to the alert members. Anything with just an R, I took this Friday afternoon. This was just called out in the room. I did not alert on it. The only thing we've alerted on this morning was CCJ. That was RA, which means room and alert. So it posted. It goes to both. It goes to everybody. Okay. That CCJ alert went out this morning at 10:16. if you're in the room, Andre, that you can just ask me right in here. Um, you can send me an email too, but basically that's too slow. If you can just post it in the room right in the question box, I'll see it. CNC right now trading at $1.83, $1.83. So we're pretty close to taking profits on this. That would be about a 50% gain on this. We'd be up about roughly $60 to $65 on a $1.25 entry. So pretty close to 50%, which would be pretty nice for just a trade that we. And I will take the profits today. I won't try to hold it because these expire on Friday. I don't have a lot of time on these things. So the whole point was I was expecting a little bit of a pullback early this morning because of the T2104. I didn't want to trade the indexes because they were too close to support, so I chose CNC and Snow. And CNC just closed. CNC just closed. CNC closed at 190. That's pretty nice. A 60 to 65 cent profit on a $1.25 entry. That's pretty nice. About 45% or so. Yeah, 52%, roughly 52% if you get in at $1.25. Nice profit on that one. Good job, everybody. That was called up by one of the members, I believe, as well on Friday, so very nice. That was a good trade on CNC in the room. Really nice job on CNC. Anytime you can get 50% in one day, that's pretty nice. It's still going down, and it may keep going down. But again, this expires Friday. We get a profit like that, I'm going to book it. Snow keeps going against me. I'm not happy about, but I got to give it some time. It's still bearish on the daily chart. Microsoft trying to bounce up here. URGN also doing nicely today. Snow, my only pain in the butt stock from Friday, shorted it and it's bouncing up. SPY with a good little drift up again. This was a SPY super system entry. If you dare take it, I didn't touch it. It's way too choppy this morning, but that was a pretty nice entry right there on it. Q's as well. And T2104 not doing much of anything here this morning. It's starting to get slightly bullish, but barely. Oh man. Snatched 50% off a trade from Friday. That was nice.
What?
Snatched 50% from a trade on Friday.
Oh yeah, baby.
Oh, that was good.
Good.
All right, get that money. Oh, good questions.
Never really understood. Maybe you need FAQs.
I don't know.
Is
Most
it?
of them are very specific.
Okay.
They're specific to stocks. And, what do you think of this stock? What do you think of that stock? I've got videos on so much stuff out there right now. And Murray, I think, has an FAQ on the site for, basic stuff. He just said he's set up every single country for the trade alert now, so we won't miss any. He's showing me the list. Good God, he said, yeah, I get blisters on my fingers. I got a webinar Thursday, a big one. Traders Corner,
Traders Corner.
4:30. Yep. We can reel a few people in from that. I got 2 new ones this
Yeah,
morning.
you know what that means, no questions.
I can't trade. I had a nice trade this morning on one of those multiple trades. Those things that, but I trade them, and I tell them about it, but I can't post them, and I tell for most people, don't do it. They're way too risky. How you doing?
Okay, they asked me to.
You're doing a lot of Google work.
Yes,
That's good. You're getting good money. While you heal. Get paid for suffering. How we call it, paid for pain.
Paid for pain.
Is this Allison's?
Yes. Shove it wherever it is.
I'll leave it right here.
No, just put it on her pile by the,
Up here?
yeah, outside the door. Yeah, anywhere, yeah.
And she's got piles everywhere.
That's our daughter.
She's got, you can barely get in the bathroom. That's no wonder she's talking about migrating.
It's so apt, you know?
Yeah, I know. I know. Oh. All right, can I check CoreWeave? East Bay Family Dentistry, all right. CRWV. Yeah, CoreWeave has bounced pretty dramatically this morning. If we look at the 5-minute chart now, it looks nice. It looked pretty bullish here this morning, right here. Okay, let's go back and look. See, it gapped up, moved up pretty nicely. But the difficulty with CoreWeave is if I go to the daily chart here on my TC2000 chart. All right, switch this over to daily. Up here, this is what we have. So we had a pretty big pullback here as it rolled over, broke below the 15 and the 8. 15's the orange, 8's the red. This is the 50 down here. It came down, got close to the 50, bounced this morning. But to me, it has a gap fill right there. You see that gap fill right there, which is just about filled. See how it went through the high on Friday and the low on Thursday? This is a no man's land trade for me. I can't trade this. Can I tell from here which way it's going to go? I cannot. Could it go up? Sure. Could it go down? Yes. So I can't trade CoreWeave. You know what I mean? You can try to intraday trade it. You know, if you get a bounce up above the VWAP, you could go long, and you could go short below the VWAP. But I can't touch that trade. It's just again, I don't know which way it's going to go. If I don't feel like I have a good read technically on which way it's going to go, I'm not going to trade it. Jacob, you just get filled on CNC. Excellent. Yeah, I get filled on CNC just a bit ago. Roger took profit in CNC. That was beautiful. Shai, you sold short puts against your snow to lower the cost basis. Okay. Planning on closing those today, and I believe it will come back down tomorrow. Maybe, yeah. And that's not a bad strategy at all. Selling puts against it to collect premium. And that's what he's doing. He's basically expecting the stock to continue sideways or moving up a little bit today. If he sold puts, the premium on those puts will drop as the stock moves sideways and goes up. And then he can close those out for profit to reduce his costs on the snow trade, and then hold it overnight and see if it goes down tomorrow. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with doing that. As long as it doesn't go whip against you this afternoon. I mean, you know, any trade you take, obviously there's risk. There's no risk-free trades. So again, closed out CNC for a really nice profit. But this price action is awful. So we're at a CNC. And we just kind of watch to see what Snow does. CCJ. Really a nice daily setup on the daily chart. I really like it. Microsoft, I'm very comfortable with the Microsoft trade. Down 42 cents this morning, very comfortable with it. URGN up nicely today, 3%, a little over 3%. Coin coming back down a little bit now. Rory said you had to sign up from some weird country this morning.
Really? What?
I don't know. He didn't. He said it was a weird country. I don't know what it is. The guy's name is Mihalis.
Spell it? What?
Mihalis. Mihalis Strelkovs. Stel Coves. Stelkovs. Mihalis Stelkovs. I don't know.
I don't know. These African places change a lot.
I don't know. Again, here's the market. Market just price action's not great here. I mean, we had a nice little move here, but all in all, this is a pretty crummy market. Here's the opening candle right there, and this is the action here. And we've gotten above the VWAP and we've gotten above the pivot point. But you know, there's a nice little move back to the 15. That the momentum, now this yellow momentum, see how this is yellow? It's gone from, so that's showing that it's going bearish, but notice where the momentum indicator is. It's just below 80. That would be, for this to go back to blue would take almost nothing. Just a slight pop up and it'll go back to blue again. So if I was liking this buy here, then I could actually probably take this. But it's just lousy price action. If I look at Heikin-Achi candles here, you know, we're getting a Heikin-Achi reversal candle right here. We're getting a Heikin-Achi reversal candle. So I would be tempted to take this SPY trade. here, except for this momentum is starting to drift down a little bit more right now. So I'm not going to take it, but just pointing that out. The color is reflected to this. This is yellow because it's moving below the 80 toward the 20, but it's not a very steep drop. You notice here we went from yellow to blue on just a slight move up, but it's been pretty high the whole time. Momentum is still pretty decent. If I look at the cues, they look very similar. That sign up was from Latvia, Ruth. I don't know, man. He says maybe we need to adjust our marketing reach out further. I mean, you're on the web. Everybody in the world can see it, so.
They want to.
All right. All right, and there's the cues right now. See, that's going back to green again. Spy's still yellow, but still a nice move here. I just wouldn't be expecting an awful lot of move from this thing. But it is slightly bullish. Nick, you've been looking to buy the software. You've been watching for the last couple of weeks. A few questions, sure. When the time frame is set to 5 minutes, then the lowest color bar is showing the 5-minute trend. Correct. This is the when this is at 5 minutes. This is the 5 minute. This is the 5-minute trend on the current time frame momentum for 5 minutes. This is the multi-time frame momentum on 5 minutes. That means this is the 5, the 15, and the 45, and then this is a long-term trend. When the time frame is in the middle, and upper color bar, but what time frame is the middle? Yeah, so this is the 15, 30, 50, the 5, 15, and 40, 45. But if you're intraday trading, this is what really matters. If you're just trading off a 5-minute chart, this becomes much more important when you swing over to the daily chart. Okay, when you go to the daily chart, then you want the current time frame momentum and the multi-time frame momentum. You want these aligned. This is 1 day. This is 1 day, 3 days, 9 days. You want the momentum to be aligned across these. I mean, they don't have to both be green. They can be blue and green, or if it's bearish, it would be yellow or red. But that's what you really want. So, like when I look at CCJ that we just took today, and just take the CCJ trade, see we've got blue here on the current time frame momentum 1 day, and green here on the multi-time frame 1 day, 3 day, 9 day. This tells me that the institutions are in CCJ and they're buying it. All right, they pulled back a little bit on Friday, and now they're buying it again. All right, so that's what that tells me. And it's really important because the way we measure momentum is not what you would normally consider. Just because you're getting green candles doesn't mean the stock is got momentum. What we measure in momentum is we take the divergence out of the indicator and we look for candlesticks that are closing closer to their high as each candlestick goes by. In other words, you have the open, the high, and the close. You want the close of each candlestick to be getting closer and closer to the high of that candlestick. So that's happening across all those time frames. And now on CCJ, you see right here, this is right now showing bearishness on the 5-minute chart, right? Because of this. So what I'm looking for here, I'm in CCJ right now, obviously long, but I wouldn't be taking it long here. This is where I would want to go long as it bounces off this VWAP and moves back up again. But since we're swinging it, I'm only really interested in these candles, right? These are indicators right here. Okay? And again, we just took profits in CNC. That was a pretty nice profit. Just recently, that was a real nice one. I got 52% on my trade, so I'm marking it at about 50%. Hope that helps you, Nick. I hope that explains it to you on these time frames and what they're showing. Again, snow is going against us still bouncing up here. Shai sold some puts on it for this week to collect premium and planning on buying them back later in the day. And if the snow keeps going up, he'll make out very well in that to basically reduce the cost of his position. SPY coming in here right now. Kind of choppy. This is the 15 right there. It just bounced off the 15, but again, we're still yellow here on the current time frame momentum. So when I say multi-time frame, well, this is looking at all three of these time frames. For this to be green on the multi-time frame, the 5, the 15, and the 45 would all have to be indicating upside potential. All right, they'd all have to be showing the price of each one of those candles on the 5, the 15, and the 45 is closing closer and closer to the high of that candle in order for it to be green. So right now we've got blue and green on both of these. So this is telling us that we've got strength in here. But typically this is all I use when I'm trading off the 5-minute chart. I don't worry too much about this because I'm just trading the current time frame momentum. This just gives me more confirmation that it's still this bullish. Yeah, it's all it's doing is using 3 different time frames on this multi-time frame. You know, depending on what you've got this set up here. Now, at some of the time frames, it's probably not going to show it because there's a lot of calculations that go through this. So I only typically use it on the 5 and the daily, but I suspect other time frames it works as well. But I'm focused on the 5, and I'm focused on the daily chart, the 1, 3, and the 9 for my swing trades. Okay, Nick. I mean, it really gives it. You know, to me, when I added this to my trading, it increased my win rate by about 7 or 8%, which is a lot. I mean, I was already hitting around 80% win rate. So by having this, and what it did for me was actually kind of kept me out of trades that I might have taken. They looked like they were good technical setups, but when I looked at the SPY Super System software, when I looked at what was going on, it told me that they might be going up, but the institutions aren't pushing them up. I don't want to be in those. They work for futures, yeah, it works fine on anything you can put in here. All right, if you put in /ES right now, it's going to show you what the /ES looks like. If you've got /GC, okay, is your gold futures, it's going to work on that. Anything that you can put in Thinkorswim into this thing, it's going to give you the same indicators for all of those. Only thing it doesn't work for is FX. It's not going to work on FX. FX is a completely different animal. It was a SPY. Still bouncing off the 15 here, but notice this is just chopping back and forth. This is a very choppy day. Very choppy day. Now I'll switch this back to regular candlesticks. I've got them on Hikanachi right now. There's the regular candlesticks. If you're interested in the software, Dick, just give Rory a call. Right here, 786-732-4656. Does it work on a 1 minute or 2 minute frame? You know, I don't use them on those. I don't know. Let me see. I don't use 1 minute time frames. Yeah, it works on the 1 minute fine. I'm not sure about the 2 minute. I'd have to change. I'm not going to mess around with all those. It does work on the 1 minute. See if it works on the 1 hour. Yeah, it's not doing it on the hourly. So again, I use the 5 minute and I use the daily. It does work on the 1 minute if you want to use it for hyper scalping. Typically, you know, a lot of people do the hyper scalping. They're using different, you know, they're using Unirenko or something. It's doing an awful lot of calculation, so it's really important that you know it's got to be quick enough. If you put too much load on it, it's going to be it's going to slow your machine down, but it's also going to be too long loading the information. So you can see the information is done pretty quickly here when we put the signals in. Q's comes up really fast. Notice Q's still holding green here, or blue, holding bullish. When the SPY is pulling down a little bit. Can it be used for swing trading? Milad, I use it for swing trading all the time. Again, if I go back and look at the trades that we've got, if I look at Microsoft, when we took this Microsoft trade, I look at the daily chart, and I look technicals as well, right? So what I do is I look at Microsoft, and the daily chart has to be bullish, all right? So I go to my TC2000, which is where I do my charting from, and I look at the daily chart right here, and when we took this is bullish. I mean, look at this chart on this thing, very, very bullish, right? So then now I know I get a bullish chart. So then I look over here to TC2000 to a SPY super system, and I take a look at the daily chart, and it tells me, yeah, the institutions are buying Microsoft. There isn't any question about it that they're buying Microsoft. Look at how long all these things have been green. So this was a good trade. This CCJ we just took today, when I look at the daily chart, bullish, bullish, bullish. So I take it long. The institution, I'm basically joining the institutions on these trades. That's what's so critical about the SPY super system software, is it as close as you can, as close as anything can, it's going to tell you whether institutions are in trades or not in trades. And then I look at the market internals for my technical analysis to see if the market internals are bullish or bearish, which market internals means cumulative volume index. Is the total number of total volume on stocks moving up greater than or less than the total number of volume on stocks moving down, or about the same? And today it's just about the same. It hasn't. They're just paired off pretty much. So I don't have any market internals to tell me that to give me extra push in my stocks. The stocks have to do most of the work today because the SPYs, the Qs, the IWM aren't doing very much. Qs are doing a little bit better, but not by much. Can I open multiple tabs off this chart to have different tickers on each instead of changing the symbol on one chart? Yeah, if you set up your toss with multiple, I don't do that here. It's just too messy, but it's too busy for me. But yeah, you can have multiple charts when you set up your toss, because you can have 2 charts, 4 charts. You can have whatever you want, and it'll pop the information in there. I don't do that, but I mean, I've had them before, but I've kept them on separate screens. But yeah, you can do that. And when you on this, by the way, on the scans here, if you click on these symbols, it's going to go ahead and pull the chart up for those symbols. This is telling me I've got stocks that are cascading up. It tells me Autodesk right here is stacking green candles, which tells me it's got relative strength to the market right now because the market's just kind of chopping sideways, up and down, and Autodesk is moving up, so it's got good relative strength. It's a horrible daily chart, by the way, but it's a nice 5-minute chart. There's team right there as well. And these will they'll repopulate periodically, every 5 minutes or something. Again, this scan down here is a new one I'm trying out for swing type trades. We see our Irene this morning looked pretty nice. It's pulling back, but this is looking at daily. This is looking at the daily chart. If I switch to daily for our Irene, you're going to see we've got good momentum here, good institutional buying at the moment on Irene. Can I explain energy level and the trend? I don't use these anymore. I'm going to get them to take these off. We're testing it out. This doesn't mean anything. I pay no attention to that. It's really, it doesn't. It's not. I don't use it. I've tried out multiple different things. I've taken stuff on, put stuff on, take it off. I've got it down to about what I like right now, and these are not anything that's going to be on here. There's the SPY. Again, just go see the different color changes. You can see that the momentum's up and down, up and down. There isn't any consensus here. Hope that explains, helps you a little bit, Nick, with the questions. Again, if you buy the software, you'll get a month in my room, and you'll get a month with the alerts. You call Rory and talk to Nick. Tell him you talk to me in the room. He'll give you the best deal he can on this. I mean, I paid for this when I bought it. I mean, I wasn't running the room when I bought this software 4 or 5 years ago, but it made a big difference. So I was very impressed with it. It's the best one I found for whether institutions are in the trade or not. And I add the cumulative volume index to tell me if I've got market internals helping me. Those things go together along with relative strength and relative weakness to give you such a huge edge over other retail traders. I mean, it's a massive edge. Look, thanks, Nick. Look forward to seeing you in the room. All right, I'm going to stop and get some lunch here. It's about 12:23, so I'm going to get some lunch. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the YouTube feed so I can get some lunch. Hey, my lad, you don't need to answer, but how well would you work with? I'll tell you that. Let me tell you that. Alan was asking about a different indicator. I try not to use too many. You can drive yourself crazy by by trying to analyze too many indicators. Um, there's certain things that we identify for institutional trading, but you can go crazy. I mean, people use all kinds of stuff like MACD crossovers, RSIs, Fibonacci's. I don't use any of those. I don't. I mean, I've tried them all. I've used them all in the past. TTM squeezes, all that kind of stuff. I've used those in the past, and they work sometimes. Sometimes they don't work. But you can just have too many things that you're trying to analyze, and if you've got too many indicators that you need to be lined up, you're never going to find any trades at all. There's just too many things. So, the trading I do is based off of a small enough number of indicators that I can get enough trades, and then I do technical analysis to try to find the best ones. That's how I do it. Okay, I'm going to shut down the YouTube room so I can get some lunch. Thanks very much, everybody in YouTube, for being here today. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the questions. Give Rory a call if you're interested in the software, or my room, 786-732-4656, right there, and you can talk to him, and he'll get you hooked up and get you in the room. Again, if you buy the software, you'll get a free room membership for a month, as well as a free alert membership for a month, and you have the software to use on your own. And if you go and look at the videos, you can just trade SPY Super Systems off of this SPY Super System software here. This is the SPY Super System software. The SPY Super System methodology is a strategy using this software to trade the SPYs, the Qs, the IWM, or the futures. You can use it for stocks as well. You can use it for stocks as well. If you wanted to day trade something like SMR, you can watch SMR. Notice how this is red, but it's green for the day. If it bounces above the VWAP and this goes blue or green, then you can take it long and ride it up until it starts to reverse back down again. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thanks very much, all the YouTube folks today. Appreciate all of you folks being here, and we'll see you folks tomorrow, Tuesday, and look forward to seeing some of you in the room. Have a good one.